Well, I mean, really, who else would it be? We're back. It's me, Taylor, and once again, it's an instant classic these days. We are back with more Knighting These Republicans. It's been maybe a month, and maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month. And a lot has changed. You know, I got a haircut. The country has started to open up more. My character can maybe survive one of these encounters at some point where he gets executed because I don't talk with my lawyer correctly. I may even have to look this up. I think I may have said that I needed to before, but I haven't actually looked it up yet. So if I fuck this up again one more time, I'll cut. Don't worry, and get us through this so you guys don't have to be like watching me getting executed over and over, unless that's what you want, where you know you can watch me die over and over, because I'm sure you guys are tired of listening to me jabber on. But if you don't like that, why the fuck are you watching these videos? So yeah. But yeah, no, things have been good. I had things have been good, and yeah, you know, a lot of things have opened up again. The virus isn't actually gone, but you know, it's been like over 3 months at this point, and I think Corona exhaustion has set in for a lot of people, including myself. And gyms started to reopen. So I think that helped me feel like I'm going to get back on my schedule more. And yeah, let's see. So things have been better. I think they're opening up movie theaters Friday, and then they're opening up gyms at full capacity, because actually LA Fitness has been able to kind of curtail their capacity by only being open during like 8 to 5. Because it's super slammed after work gets out most of the time. So if you go in the morning, it's actually even a little bit lighter than it usually is. And they have hand sanitizer, and they put the not the benches, but like the ellipticals and the treadmills like 6 feet apart. So there's at least that. But yeah, things are getting better. Let me do my give my college best try to see how I can actually get out of this. Wrong place, wrong time on legitimate business. Interrupt. You're a member of the Jedi Order? I wish to dismiss my arbiter. I will defend myself. What is your explanation for being at the Sith Embassy? I haven't tried this yet, so let's see how this goes. The Sith, I was killing Sith. See, simple. I was working for the Republic. Would that, I mean, I don't really know how to get out of this, but the Sith lured me inside. How was it they lured you inside? What bait did they use? They were trying to lure me to the dark side. I was there for diplomatic negotiations. There have been many provocations before this. Their character is well known. But this is not an issue for outsiders to hear. We will adjourn to debate your story and the charges brought against you. We'll still kill you. That's probably what they said. There is not enough evidence to convict you of this crime. The provocations of the Sith are well known, and we will be issuing a memo of censure against them. Their embassy is considered off limits to all Auto City security personnel. No calls or incidents from their base will be attended to until this matter is dealt with, as they are no longer subject to the protections of Selkath law. You've been found innocent and may leave as you desire. This trial is now over. I fucked this up so many times when I played this as a kid. And yet, all you had to do was just be like, oh, they asked me to go. And they're like, insufficient evidence. Man. You fucking whack-ass robots. Good God, look at your shoveled... Oh God, they're so useless, man. They're so cool, but they're so useless. I really will have to grind stuff off screen.
Of Otto City, Your Honor. But the Sith are a violent people who leave violence in their wake. I have 3 soldiers in the infirmary.
If the Republic soldiers were more capable, they would not have suffered such serious injuries.
They're actually like swaying in the same rhythm. Do you see that?
Because they won a fair fight?
I hardly call 6 against 3 a fair fight. The Sith are cowards who attack only when they have the advantage of numbers.
He's not moving his lips.
They were provoked, Your Honor. The Sith goaded them into this fight.
Oh, so they're getting fined because of the fight. What's up, Judge? I would like to investigate the murder case involving Sunri. I don't remember what this is about, but Sunri sounds like a very side questy name, so sure, let's do it. Oh, maybe this is the one I fucked up. The Arbiter is a neutral party that can investigate and present evidence in the trial and argue on the defendant's behalf. As you are a Jedi, I believe you could fulfill this role adequately. These guys who made this game must have really liked Phoenix Wright and The Judge, kind of like legal games. I will now inform you of the pertinent facts in this case. You have a limited amount of time in which to investigate and organize the defense of your client, and I advise you to use it wisely. Sunri was seen leaving a hotel, leaving behind a dead Sith woman, Alasa Huros. He has been charged with murder and is being held in the Otto City prison facilities. Due to his crippled status, he is being held in a solitary holding cell. Witnesses claim to have seen the killing and are being detained at the hotel in question pending the trial. The manager of the hotel has now been informed of your appointment. Alasa was found dead of a blaster wound with an incriminating Republic medal clutched in her hand. This information has been uploaded to your datapad. It would be wise to review all information before the trial starts. This is kind of like the one before. You may question Sunri or the witnesses. The evidence in this case is heavily stacked against Sunri. I believe it will take some doing to absolve him of guilt. You may also interview the judges here, including myself, to get an idea of the pertinent factors in this case. I will. This is also your first case and you are an off-worlder. I feel compelled to add good luck as my final missive. Thank you, Mr. Selkath. Alright, judges, what do y'all have to say against the case against Mr. Sunri, the maybe murderer of a young lady, or maybe not? The Arbiter, since you've been permitted to defend Sunri against these accusations, I shall assist how I can. Is there anything suspicious about the case? I find it questionable that a man with such a reputable past as Sunri would murder a Sith woman, especially not from behind. But knowing the Sith, there is probably some deception involved. They do seek to do the same thing to us here. There has been much pressure by the Sith on our government, and even on the judges themselves, to deliver a guilty verdict to Sunri in this case. But the law is absolute, and we will not be compromised for Sith power games. Agreed. Is there anything else you need? What do you think of Sunri? Sunri was a great warrior in his time. He fought for the Republic against the Sith aggression and proved valorous. I have great respect for his accomplishments, and I find it tragic that he finds itself in the current situation. If the Republic had more individuals like him right now, I do not believe the Sith would be such a great problem for your people. Thank you, Judge. Let's see what else. Judge Dula, what do you think? I find it presumptuous to assume that cripple Sunri could kill Alasa. I think there must have been another there who killed her, perhaps one of the witnesses. I do not know the reason for the medal clutched in her hand, but it may have been that she fought them off even as she died. I think this may be the work of some Republic conspiracy, and I am not afraid to say so. If the only means I have of hurting the Republic is through Sunri, then so be it. Oh, he's anti-Republic. Is that all? What do you think of the Republic and the Sith? The Republic is in sore need of change. It has gone on too long, and the Sith are the fresh wind of change blowing across the galaxy. Man, this is, sounds like some other things, huh? I do not believe in the false stories of the evils of the Sith Empire. They are nothing compared to the oppression and stagnation that the Republic represents at its core. If I was the power to decide, Manon would join the Sith, forcing the Republic to accept the new face of the future. But it would appear that I am wiser and more far-sighted than my immediate superiors. I am relegated to civil judicial matters. I will judge the case, and I will find Sunry as guilty as he is charged to be. Are you finished? So we have Judge Coda is Republican. Judge Dula is Scythian. I guess Shelkar. Shelkar is the main justice. Nalishkin. What do you think of Sunry? Sunry was a hero, a Republic soldier hero even. Do you think his Republic masters would let someone so valuable go so easily? I think not. I think Sunry maintains his contacts with the Republic and seeks to escalate the situation here. What do you think of the Republic and the Sith? I do not buy into the Republic line that this is some epic battle of the good Republic against the evil Sith. The Sith is merely an expansionistic power, much like the Republic was early in its history. Complex thinking in Star Wars, isn't that? You'll never see it again. It is simply the turning of history, where the old is swept away by the better new. Is there anything intelligent you wish to know? This guy is even. He is non-affiliated. So we have one Scythian. Dula is Scythian. Coda is Republican. Nalishkan is... He is kind of a more, he has his own opinions, like everybody should. And Jehoza. What do you think, Jehoza? What do you think of Sunry? Sunry is a Republic officer who is highly regarded by your people. He is admired by your people here on Manon and even seems to maintain some sort of relations with them still. He is as capable as some of the citizens to believe him to be. He is certainly capable of actions that would result in this murder. Is there anything else you wish to in relation to this case? What do you think of the Republic and the Sith? Both empires are at fault for the current conflict. The Republic in the past for laying the foundations upon which the Sith Empire grew, and now the Sith for starting a war. But no matter how many wrongs have been done in the past, the Sith now have no cause for renewing hostilities. It almost seems as if they just want to conquer everything. I believe the Republic has every right to defend itself and drive the Sith back to where they came from. Unfortunately for them and perhaps us, they do not seem to be doing a great job of it. Was there anything else you want to know? Oh, God. When you listen to a panel of opinions about something in Star Wars, it's amazing because ultimately, if this was a prequel trilogy, we would just only have the perspective of this guy, Judge Coda, right? Bad, good, bad versus good. This is sci-fi movie. You know, you watch Star Trek and you're like, dude, Star Wars is hardly even sci-fi a lot of the time. Like, it's just... It is like what George R.R. Martin said. You just trade the swords and the shields for the blaster rifles and the the starships. Like that's the kind. But what I've loved about Star Trek is that it's always about issues and not about lasers. You know, and I mean, God, I love this game so much, but it's always more rewarding, I think, when there's a little bit more depth put into things.
And that Jolie has returned to the sector. Please, I must speak to him. It's very urgent.
Who are you?
My name is Alora. My husband, Sunry, and Jolie are old friends. Now Sunry needs Jolie's help.
Ooh. I shall tell Jolie immediately.
Please, I beg you to bring Jolie to speak to me about my husband. Sunry's life depends on it.
I feel like, where are we? Party. Oh, I can. Oh, thank God I don't have to go all the way back. Remove. Mr. Jolie. Who has Jolie not been with yet? Mission, I guess? Let's do that, right? Mission was with us. Maybe Karth. We try this. There you go. I don't need to level these guys right now. I'll save the levels. Republic negotiators, Achani mercenaries. All right, Alora.
Jolie, it is you. I need your help.
Alora, of all the people, how did you you even know I'd left Kashyyyk?
I didn't. Nobody knew where you were, not even Sunry. But I heard the Selkath mention you and your friends. The Force has brought you to help us.
Why? Whatever could be the matter, my dear?
It's horrible, Jolie. Sunry has been arrested. The Sith have accused him of murder.
Murder? But how?
It's all a mistake, Jolie. Sunry isn't a murderer. Someone is trying to frame him.
Calm down, Alora. Where's Sunry now?
Sunry's being held at the Selkath courts. They won't let anyone in to see him. Please, go to the courts. Talk to the judges. Maybe the Selkath will listen to you.
Don't worry, Alora. We'll get to the bottom of this and help Sunry. Somehow.
Ah, Jolie. Man, oh man. It's nice to have lightsabers instead of, falling apart trash like HK on our team, man. So trash. The holding cell is off to the side, so we can probably actually go straight to the holding cell and then interview the witnesses. I mean, I love quests like this because it reminds me of the one we did on Dantooine with the murder case right at the beginning, and I like that they Oh, I have to talk to the warden and start the case. I don't want to do that yet, but I like that it's complex. We have some prisoners. Sunry. What's up, Sunry?
Jolie, what are you doing here? Alora sent me, Sunry. I'm here to get you out of this mess. The courts went and made us arbiters for your case.
Just like old times, eh, Jolie? You come swooping in out of nowhere to save my tail from the fire?
You saved my wrinkle butt more than a few times as well, friend, if
I recall. God, I hope butts don't get wrinkled.
Up later. Right now, we need to focus on the case.
The case is a complete frame-up. Anyone looking at the evidence could see that. Or so I thought. But the Selkath seem to think that there's enough to go to trial. There aren't any witnesses. All that evidence against me is circumstantial and completely flawed.
Let's go over the evidence.
Well, I was at the hotel, I admit. And I did meet Eliza there that night, but it's not what you think.
I was working with Republic intelligence. We were pretending to feed information to the Sith. Well, I turned Eliza into a double agent working for us.
It was going well, too, until she turned up dead. Maybe the Sith had found out I was turning her and had her eliminated.
But let's look at the facts they've given.
Eliza was brutally killed. Think about that. She was a Sith, trained in battle, and I'm just a crippled old man. My war injuries make it difficult for me to walk, even to hold things. See how my hands are shaking? How could I kill a Sith warrior at close quarters? I ask you. Further, they say they found my heroes cross at a crime scene. Would I leave my war medal behind if I killed someone? Even I'm not that stupid. Obviously, the Sith planted the cross. And what about the lack of forensic evidence? Skin and hair samples, clothing fibers. Why isn't there anything like that at the crime scene? Sounds like an obvious frame-up to me. I hope you can see how the Sith are manipulating the Selkath.
He seems kind of like wanting me to believe this.
Get this over with quickly and clear my name. Anything else I can help you with? I want my arbiter to be well prepared before we go to trial.
Any ideas where I should look?
Guess you could interview witnesses at the hotel where the murder happened. The Selkath already did that, but the fish folk don't have much rapport with offworlders. Maybe one of them was holding something back. But I think you'd be better off investigating the Sith themselves. Maybe you could find some proof they planted evidence to frame me. Though that might mean figuring out a way into the Sith embassy. Anything else I can help you with? I want my arbiter to be well prepared before we go to trial.
I think this is where I fucked up over and over.
Very well. Once you've gotten enough evidence to go to trial...
So the warden over here? Yeah, okay. Who's this guy?
When I get out of here, you're dead! I'll gut your fishy little corpse, cut off your head, and bathe in your blood!
Man, that guy is, he's not the nicest of fellows, is he? I don't want to tell him I want to go to trial. I just want to... What do you know about the murder of Alasa? He's like, one's from the Republic, one's from the Sith. They kill each other. Have you ever seen Star Wars? Come now. Alright, so I can go to the Sith Embassy. God, this map perhaps is too massive.
So, do we have a deal?
That's an awful lot of money. Is there something you're not telling me?
Don't be so suspicious. The Republic is generous. We pay our mercenaries well.
Makes sense, I guess. All right, I'm in. When do I start?
Just show up at the Republic Embassy tomorrow and speak to our representative there. I'm sure he'll have some task he wants you to start on right away.
Huh.
Do you mind? I'm in the middle of a Republic recruiting drive right now. I need to hire these mercenaries before
God,
they
it's a new
sign up
model
with the
right there. Look at that butt chin. That guy looks like Gaston. He actually has the same colors if you just ignore the hat.
I don't know if you've got what we're looking for. Jedi aren't generally suited to mercenary work. If you want, talk to Roland Wan at the Republic Embassy and see if he can find anything for you. It's north of here, just east past the first courtyard. It's just off the north end of the second courtyard. You can't miss it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to continue my recruitments.
No one recruits like Gaston, no one boots like Gaston, no one is in cahoots with Republicans like Gaston. Why does he enjoy expectorating so much, right? Like, it's considered to be very masculine that he has loogies. What did this guy say? You're more friendly than most of the Selkath. What are you talking about? What do you want me to do? The Republic has been hiring mercenaries, more than usual. With the incident at the Sith base so recent, one cannot help but wonder. As an official of the Selkath people, this is of great concern to me. I only seek the reason for this change in Republic policy. Why do you need me? What do you need me for this? I cannot trust anyone else. The Republic obviously wants to keep their secret. I've inquired often but been rebuffed. The Sith cannot be trusted. They will twist the truth so it furthers their own goals. And the mercenaries are well high of the wages the Republic is paying. They would not report anything that might slow the flow of credits to their accounts. Uncover the truth behind the Republic's actions and I will pay you 500 credits.
I'm uncomfortable with spying on the Republic. But if we could assure the Selkath that they mean no harm, then perhaps it might be worth it.
Please see if you can find the answers I seek. Find why the Republic is hiring so many mercenaries. Find where they are going. Find why they do not return. I'll look into it for you, Nico. Once you discover, come talk to me. Believe it or not, I'm a friend of the Republic. Whatever the truth, I shall do my best to protect the interests and those of the Selkath. Mr. Nico Belwas.
I hope you're here to play some Pazak.
God. Oh, this is the races, isn't it? God, how many side quests are in this area? Shaylos, I've heard that you have some part of the incident. Is this true? My allegiances are my own business. You are wise to be guarded, but my sources are rarely wrong, and they've informed me you are no friend of Malak's people. Though I suspect we have little in common, human, I share your dislike of the Sith. They have brought grief to my family. I'm not a fool. I know the Sith do not respect our laws as the Republic does. Were it up to me, I would do everything in my power to aid the Republic in the war against Malak, but intergalactic politics stay in my hands. Still, I know the Sith are evil, and I fear what they will do to my people and what they may be doing now. What are you talking about? Many of the Selkath have vanished. Most who have gone missing are on the cusp of adulthood, the youth who will someday lead the planet. My own daughter is among those who have disappeared. These disappearances coincide with the arrival of the Sith, and I cannot dismiss the connection. The Sith are up to something human, something sinister. I can feel it. You want me to investigate these? I will give you 500 credits, the same amount as every Selkath, if you can cover the fate of my daughter and the other missing Selkath. Not much, but all I can afford. Their public agents are too closely watched. I shall look into these appearances for you. Perhaps the off-worlders in the mercenary enclave know something. If you learn anything, report back to me at once. Lord, it's like we get here, and it's like there's like nobody.
I have no desire to speak to you. I know you have links to the Republic. I have no desire...
You hiring for the Republic? Then why are you wasting my time? There's big...
So I guess if I was bad, I would probably get different outcomes.
You're new around here, aren't you? My name's Duan. Care to buy a Sith girl a drink? That is, unless you're one of those...
Unless you're a simp, which in case, buy me 2 drinks. I hear you Sith are taking an interest in the Selkath youth.
We Sith are interested in a lot of things, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. I'm just here to have... What is there to investigate? Obvious, but I don't really want to talk about that.
I'm searching for some ancient ruins.
Some kind of historian or something. You should forget about the past. Look, it isn't easy here, you know. Not with all the Republic soldiers walking the streets while we sit and do absolutely nothing. Malak should send a fleet in and conquer this whole sector, Kolto or no. But I don't really want to talk.
But I don't really want to talk about that right now.
Oh, I get it. I get a little bit wild, and you want to hold it against me.
Uh-oh.
Come on, what's the matter? Afraid I'll drink you under the table? Hey, if you're not man enough to keep up, who needs you? Seems I'm not ladylike enough for some men. Well, I may be a woman, but I'm still a soldier. Barkeep, bring me another round.
On the house, baby.
Oh, it's you again. Didn't think I'd see you around here. I probably should cut back on the drinking, but it's a good...
Look at her face.
There's a lot of tension here on Manan, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. We Sith, but I don't really want...
But I don't really want to talk about that right now?
Oh, come on. See...
Oh, man. However she gets her eyebrows to do that, that is something else. What's up, Bigelow?
Clear out. You're cramping my style with the ladies.
You're cramping my style. Is this Alan Rickman?
Hey, man. Clear out. You're cramping my style with the ladies.
Alan, it's Alan. Please clear out. You're cramping my style with the ladies. Do not disappoint me. I have a few questions. Can I offer them a drink? There's no drinks, it's all just adrenals. Well, I'll try to figure out what's in it. There's so many side quests. You walk into this bar, and there's like just 100 people you can talk to.
Perhaps the Mandalorian or the Achani can help you, though they lack the stomach for certain jobs.
I am part of the Carhead people.
They lack the resolve to do what needs to be done. The Achani believe in a non-existent warrior code of honor, and the Mandalorians prize credits above bloodshed. But I am Iridorian. Honor comes from slaying your opponent, and the true reward of any job is the taste of your foe's dying blood on your tongue.
You and Candace will get along.
Ask whatever you wish.
Why is the Republic hiring so many mercenaries?
Perhaps you should ask them. The Republic prefers not to deal with the mercenaries they hire must be failing, as they are never heard from again.
Have you heard anything about young Selkath going missing? Maybe I'll just gut you like a Selkath preparing an Orchonare for lunch. How many credits would it take to make your business my business?
This is the way of this waterworld.
Dude, he gave me dude? There are no dialogue options. You see this? You see? There are no options. He just shut my ass down. He roasted me so hard that I literally just got stuck. God, is there any way to get out of this? No? Shit. Alright, I'll cut back. I should have had an autosave when I got through the court case anyways, so I'll be back. 1 segundo. Alright, and we are back. It didn't autosave, but it actually did not take very long because it was really all dialogue generally, and just talking to people and asking questions. So really all we have to do now is traject towards... And the one thing that does suck about this area is that this Manon area... Dude, Karth. Karth? What the fuck? Oh my god. Here we go, dude. Robot blaster Buzz Lightyear ass. The city is so massive, and every hallway looks the same. If there is still more talk of like them redoing this game, but Port Official, Auto East, the docking bay. There is talk of them still redoing this game again. But it's just like, I wish that the hallways had more character. Kind of like in Mass Effect when you're on Omega, like everything is very colored. I know this is more like the Citadel in the sense that it's very clean, but just the architecture, I mean, it's pretty much the same in every area, and that would be an obvious thing to me to try to redo. Okay, so there should be some stuff to investigate over yonder. But this is good. I mean, it's interesting because this whole area is so different than the rest of the game. That there are a lot more NPCs that are trying to get you to. There are a lot more NPCs that are trying to gain you over to their side. There are a lot more. There's a lot more optional stuff than there was before, and it's a lot more thinking and a lot less shooting, which is interesting.
You're the one defending Sunry now, huh? Well, the hotel's open for you, and I guess I gotta answer any questions you want too.
What did you see?
The Sith woman, Alasa, rented a room in the hotel. An hour or two later, Sunry comes in and goes to her room. A couple hours later, I hear a blaster shot and see Sunry running. He can't run good because he's a cripple, but he still was going pretty fast. I would swear he started after the shot, though.
Could it have gone on after he left?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's possible, just barely. But I wouldn't say that to the court.
I can bribe the witnesses. Oh, man.
What do you want?
What else do you know about Sunry and Alasa?
I used to rent rooms here every week or so. Then Sunry would come by a couple hours later and stay all night. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what was going on.
Who are the witnesses?
There were only 2 other people in the hotel when it
Rodian.
happened. One was a Rodian named Glupor. Seems like a really dirty, shifty type. Normally, I don't let his kind
Fucking
in.
Rodians.
I'm a businessman, you know. But there weren't many people here, so I decided to take a chance. The other is a regular named Feareth Me. He's a Pazak player. Don't know anything about anything else.
I want to see this again.
Alasa rented a room in the hotel. An hour or two later, Sunry comes in and goes to her room. He can't run good because he's a cripple, but he still was going pretty fast. What do you...
Sunry ran after the shot. They had been seeing each other. So he was probably cheating on his wife. He was like, I was trying to convert her to the cause. But he was like, my cause? Alright, hey, what's up, Glupor? I have questions about the murder of Alasa. Why were you at the hotel? What did he see? Glupor did not see murder. Glupor did see Republic guy, the cripple, Sunry. Glupor thinks. Glupor sees Sunry running away from the scene of the crime. Nothing else at all, especially not in the Sith lady's room. What about Alasa's room? She was just curious to see what had happened. Glupor had no reason to go in her room. No one paid Glupor to do it. How if I gave you 100 credits to tell me? How you know someone paid Glupor? Well, Sith man came up to Glupor after murder. Before Selkath arrived, he said he'd give Glupor good money if Glupor put metal in the Sith's hand. Glooper good. Glooper plant evidence and leave no trace, but Glooper not recognize Sith man anyway. Glooper not recognize humans very well. No use to Selkath, so not to bother to tell him. Well, that and the Sith man say he'd kill Glooper if Glooper speaks. Oh no. Oh, poor Glooper. So he was asked to plant. The evidence was clearly a plant. There's a Pizak player. Is he around? Over here? Feareth me.
With the Selkath, you here to see me about the murder too? I told the damn fish everything I knew. What more do you all want from me?
What do you know about him?
Sunry, I only heard of once or twice in passing. Some sort of old-time war hero against the Sith. Seen him around in the hotel too. Going to Alassa's room always, of course. Kept the rest of the building up half the night with their damn antics usually.
You mean Sunry was having a relation with Alassa?
I'm not saying anything like that. What they did in that room in private is their business.
Ooh.
And there isn't any rule against Sith and Republic seeing each other for personal reasons. Although if you think her Sith master didn't know, you must be fooling yourself.
Sith master?
Oh, well, Alassa was a Sith, so of course she'd have to have someone above her. Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Maybe if I toss in 100 credits?
100 credits isn't enough for the kind thing.
What did you see the night of the murder?
I was in my room.
I can't ask that question
my own
again.
Business with the latest copy of Pizak Weekly, checking out the listings for the big tournament that's going to be held here soon.
I heard a blaster
Being
shot.
Still alive, and therefore smart enough not to stick my head out immediately, I didn't go out right away. I looked out after a minute and saw Glooper in the hall by Alassa's room, and Sunry running like the wind. You can't tell me that someone who was running like that, and he was pretty fast for a cripple, isn't guilty.
Being about Sunry and Alassa.
Sunry, I only heard of once or twice in kept the
Alassa roomed here often.
Yes, she rented a room every week or so. Coincidentally, it was right about the same time that Sunry would show up. They didn't seem all that discreet either. I'm not saying anything. And they're...
What did you see?
I didn't see. Since you put it that way. Well, one time, I saw Alassa coming in wearing this big cloak. I was on my way to my room, and she normally wears stuff like that, so I didn't pay her too much attention. But this time, I accidentally brushed up against her. Accidentally, of course. And her cloak fell open. Now, I don't have any qualms about the Sith. I leave them alone, and they leave me alone. And seeing as how Alassa had a Sith lightsaber under her cloak, I'm not going to poke that hornet's nest.
She was a dark Jedi?
Seems so. But I'm not getting myself in any further with the Sith. I know how ruthless they are. Now, that's all I'm going to tell you. I'll testify it to the court, but you aren't going to...
The metal was a plant. Alassa is a dark Jedi. Sunry is consorting with a dark Jedi. Huh. Everybody thinks that Sunry was boning with him. What's up, mysterious man?
Jedi, I hear you are investigating the Sunry murder trial, are you not? This case is not at all what it appears to be. Many
yes.
might I say, flow beneath the surface.
What do you mean?
This murder is much more complicated than it may first appear. Sunry and Alassa are proxies for their governments, and both sides want the other to fail. You can see the journey by the footprints. You understand, yes?
Yes, you understand, yes. The whole proclivity of such things to pither on wildly as a goose chase for those who are, how do you say, inclined to dabble in such things. Wouldn't you say? I don't know. Pithy. You can see the journey, you understand, yes? I think so, kinda.
I'm saying they both had something to do with it. They've both kept their hands in this from the start. If you want to get to the bottom of this murder, you might seek information from both the Sith and the Republic, likely in their embassies.
They should just give it to me?
No, of course not. You think state secrets are for sale on the common market? You would have to be
Sherlock.
devious to get what you want. Heed my advice, Jedi, and you may yet find the truths in this murder.
Shit. Alright, let's go interview. This is the Sith area, or is this the Republic? I don't know. Roland Wynn, yeah, this is Republic. What up, Roland?
Have you managed to retrieve the data from our droid in the Sith? Time is a critical...
Bro, I got kicked out.
I'm sorry, I'm on duty, citizen. Please refer any questions to our...
I can't talk now. I've got to get this Colta loaded up before my shift is over.
Shit. Can I talk to anybody else? Can I go in restricted access? Damn, you'd think that they would just let a Jedi in, huh? These guys are like, nah, dude. Who would I even talk to at the embassy? Slice the Republic system. Access the restricted data archives. Sunry Incident Archive. A beautiful young woman enters the room followed by a much older man. Shh. It's the only thing that happens in these seedy hotels. As she walks further into the room, he softly closes the door, pulls a blaster, and shoots her in the back. This must be some sort of secret recording of Sunry murdering Alasa. What the fuck? We just got the evidence? And that seems like the quickest way to figure this shit out. Bro, Sunry fucking murdered her ass. Damn. What if Sunry's a Sith, dude? What if it's the other way around? What if Sunry's a Sith and Alasa was trying to go to the Republic? Damn, dude. The plot thickens. Shady Rodian. I don't even remember what your side quest was. I think this is to get to the Sith embassy, right? Yeah. Well, while we're walking, we can talk about more stuff. I got a bunch of plants for my birthday. My birthday came recently. I ended up getting jade pothos and a money tree, which is something. I think the scientific name is something aguatica. What's up, Sith?
Back off, Republic scum.
All right, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I got all these different plants. I got this nice shirt. If you guys can tell, I might mess up the green screen a little bit when I try to do this, but if you look, there are actually cloisters on the shirt. Pretty cool, huh? I love cloister. Cloister is one of my favorites, especially of the original 150. What's up, negotiator?
I have no desire to...
Oh, thank you. Swoop track, auto east, general shop, Sith base. This way? Yes. But yeah, things have been pretty, pretty decent. They've been better, right? They've been better because things have been opened up. I'm doing a lot more. I'm back on my schedule. Schedule kind of helps the mood. It's a lot easier when like the whole world isn't constantly shut down. I mean, I know there's lots of cases of coronavirus, and it's going to spike a lot, especially with the protests going on right now. So for sure. I just walked into the Sith base. Are they not going to just fucking shoot my ass as soon as I come in here? Was I not supposed to do this mission like beforehand or something? Like, maybe I should go into like a computer terminal in here. Is the one thing I will say about this area is that like it has very little structure. It's not the best for like trying to it's not the best for like knowing where to go or what to do, because a lot of the side quests kind of conjoin and I'm not like always sure where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to be attempting, and I feel like I should have maybe done the Sunry stuff before, because now everybody at the Sith base is dead, so I guess I just have to kind of wing shit. I don't know why Taco Bell... I don't know why Taco Bell has no health right now. It's kind of... Does Jolie have cure? Bro, heal my ass. Heal my ass. Heal me. Bring my homies back to life. Alright, level up. But yeah, you know, I got the nice shirt. I got some plants. In the meantime, before the gyms reopened, I was actually master speed. Can't do that. Force armor. Okay. Wait. Oh, he's got more power points. Nice. Destroy droid. He's not level 15 yet. I like Destroy Droid. It rolls off the tongue. I'm gonna level you up too, pal. Treat injury, feats. Also, I was looking weirdly at the camera before because I did like the same thing that I did when me and Parker played WWE, right? I just asked, I tried to persuade, nothing changed, and then I tried again, and then it worked. It must have been like literally, because there's a degree of chance in these, it must have been either, like I must be somewhere within that parameter of a roll of whether I made it or I didn't make it on the aware or the persuade check, right? Because I always invest, but I feel like you get extra points for like having the buffs on and blah, 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 blah. So, I guess snipe shot, right? Or is there a dual wield option? He has almost everything in that category that's useful. He really doesn't need to learn that many more things here.
What?
But yeah, and this whole area is kind of a little all over the place. Definitely want to save because I do not want to have to like go through and do all these dialogue options again. I think this door had droids and a bunch of other crap over here. I want to see if there's like a terminal that might have some I know one of these rooms just had to get fucked up, like basically just like the whole mob was in there. So I'm gonna cast master speed, force armor, night valor, night speed, and I mean I guess that's all, right? I'm gonna hit save again actually, just because I hate having to like wait before I recast the buffs. But yeah, I feel like this is this is not a come fuck me up room. I want to fight. I haven't fought yet. Disassembly, faulty war droid. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Broken droids and people to kill. Get them, and then you do. Hit that dude with the stasis. Karth, you're so fucking slow, man. Like, what is it? I guess because we have night speed on, so we're just gonna wreck people. Blasters are so ass in this game too, right? Like they're so useless. I think he also might have a defense boost while he's in stasis. But like, look at how easily we just like wreck all these dudes. Because it's like so cheap when they have blasters, because I think one of your like awareness levels makes it so you pretty much just deflect all of the blaster fire, you know? He chucked something just now. But some parts off this dude? A data module. What's in here? I still got sand people clothes. How fun. Sith hangar key. Map of the Eastern Dune Sea. Infinite. Nice to have infinite inventory here. Here we go. Oh, this is the one. This is the thing that the Republic wanted. Maybe I need to do this to get the information? Maybe that is what the dude was alluding to, that I had to be shifty, that I had to like run missions. Different security interfaces. I guess these are ways of getting into the stuff. Oh boy, alright. This is gonna be something. He knows destroy droid, so he should be able to just fuck some shit up, right? About to fuck this whole club up. Here we go. Beat him up. These guys are pretty, they have the flamethrowers. They don't fuck around, these guys. Oh my god, just hit his ass. Maybe we should just focus one. No, him. Heal. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Master Flurry. Dude, these things take like... We need it. This destroy droid power seemed to be OD, right? Dude, where's my cursor? Dude, please. Hello? No? My cursor just stops working sometimes. Here we go. Here we go.
Yes?
I guess he wants to cast Night Speed? Wait your turn, buddy.
Not this again.
Heal. Come on, man. This destroy droid power is pretty bonkers. It does so much freaking damage. It's like literally cheating. You see how much, like how little damage we were doing before that, and then he uses destroy droid and they just die like immediately. That's kind of nonsense, Holmes. I wonder if it works on turrets too. Is there anything? West Lounge door. Oh, maybe this is like a different entrance? And more bad people this way? That's not anything, that's just the texture. Nice. Have we like cleared out all of this except for the stupid water puzzle in the back? There was something else back here too. I felt like it was another... There was like even more dickheads. Nope, this is the main hallway. And then, yeah, up here was another room of crap. Let's just save because I feel like maybe we go to the lounge. I feel like the lounge is part of the outside map though. Yeah, see there's like the wall of perp here that we can't get to. But I have that interface, so maybe I can go to like the front desk and use it or something and like, shit, I don't know, like get data or turn off the purple. No? Can't use this? Damn. Alright, let's go to that lounge and then if that doesn't work out, we will get on with the topic so we can pursue the rest of our lives accordingly. It's interesting. It's like I remember this section well, but it's not all that compelling from a lore perspective. I'm gonna die. Okay, there's more shit. Alright, more droids. I doubt I will survive this battle. Just make oh god, there's so many of them. Destroy droid. Just, if I was already healed, it would be not even a question. I just have Jolie in the back healing the whole time. But you need to have Jolie needs to use his powers of destroy droid. Where are you going, friend? Just use destroy droid over and over. Watch. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Down you go.
Good night. Good night. What up? This just cheating. This level is like impossible without it. That's how these old games are though, right? Like, and that's what I'm saying, like, I picked the class just to beat Malik, but I feel like I couldn't have North Computer Room, okay. I feel like I couldn't have possibly... I'm saving Karth's level, by the way. I know you guys can't see it, but just so he can get the health boost. It's so hard to beat him, you know? Shit, this looks like some bad shit right here. Owie, owie. Yay! They made it! See, it's funny about that is that you can just run through. I don't know what I was supposed to disable. I guess I just deactivated it there. Slice the computer. The flow control room? View the security room. That's what I want to fuck up. Disable the sentry droids. I just want to get... I need to disable the force field. Yeah, that's what I need to get rid of. There you go. Those droids are nothing, man. Nice. Yeah, they're not... I mean, I'll squish them and be done with it. Yeah, when you... God, I mean, that's what's crazy about these games, right? They, like... They're so... You can not get one thing and then the whole game is impossibly difficult, right? The game is like, you know, you should have rented instead of bought, like, difficult, you know? But yeah, it's also strange. I mean, I'm not sure, but it's also strange that it didn't seem like there was another way of disabling that force field without spending security spikes. And usually there's multiple ways, but I could be wrong with that section. It's just this whole area is so convoluted. You even like kind of forget what your objective is. But I'm just gonna use the med packs because I don't want to sit here forever. And then what I will do is I'll have Karth use his level up here. And like he literally doesn't need much else. And yeah, Jolie is casting heals. Jolie, you gonna... There you go. We're out of combat, so I feel like our force is regenerating pretty quick. And you'll notice that like it's regenerating a lot faster too. Well, I guess you guys can't see it, but it's regenerating a lot faster too because of some other passes we got. But basically, Jolie's just gonna come in here and just wipe the floor with these droids as usual. Yeah. Look at this. Nothing. It's not evil lightning if it's killing droids, and droids are alive in this universe, so I don't really understand that one, but, you know. It also costs nothing. It literally costs almost no force powers. It's just insane. It's just so broken.
Yes?
It just means that droids... Another reason why droids are terrible in this game. They are completely destroyable by just like 1 or 2 powers. So ridiculous, man. Come now. Come now. Game developers, why do this? Why do this 15 years ago? Okay. Damn, this shit like keeps going. Cellcath Apprentice? Hello? Oh god, there's some evil dudes in here. He's an evil guy. It's been a while since we had to kill some of these fish dudes. Actually, we've never killed them. What have they got in here? Lots of money, lots of rewards. What did he have on him? Poison grenades? I get a feeling we're gonna have to fight more of these guys. I wouldn't say this level is a strong point for the game, though. I wouldn't say that this... It feels very, like, whatever when we're going through fighting these guys. And it feels very contextless, right? Shasa? Oh! Should we sound the alarm, Shasa? Shasa's evil. The little young ones. The Sith are teaching us mastery of the Force. Their alliance with the Sith will bring strength to Manon. The Sith are evil. What they told you was a lie. If the Republic is defeated, the Sith will enslave your planet. Shasa, what if they speak the truth? Remember what happened at Taurus. Taurus is nothing but a Republic lie. Oh, if the Sith are such monsters, then prove it to us. Surely there must be some evidence of the horrors they commit. The Sith are evil, Shasa. They only want Manon's Kolto. So you say, but why should we believe you? We need physical proof, not the words of some Republic sympathizer. Give me some time and I will find proof the Sith are evil. I shall give them a chance to prove themselves.
Well, great. It can't be that hard to find proof of the Sith's activities, can it?
I know, right? They're only comically evil. Alright, well. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Practice droid. Sorry, apprentices.
You asked for this.
You should see the parts flying off from the sides and you're ow. Ow.
How did you get in here? Wait. I recognize you. Lord Malak was most displeased.
Well, let me guess. You intend to collect this reward, right? See? What?
As you wish.
My loyal apprentices. My loyal apprentices. They all have the same dialogue line. Even fucking Jolie was like, yup, he's gonna say the shit that they all say. He's gonna say it. And you want to use... You should actually take out the mobs, because your blaster is useless otherwise. But yeah, let's cast some stuff, right? Go fight! God, this guy seems kind of strong, don't he? God, Jolie kind of holding the squad up here, right? He's got some abilities. Can he stasis his ass? And then you can... Oh, Karth got stasis. So you stasis his ass. Yeah. How do you like that? How do you like them grapes? Force armor.
What?
And then...
Not this again.
You say, hold up now, friend. Stasis is so broken too. Just kill the mobs, dude. We're just wasting our damn time. Oh god, Jolie is down. Oh god, purple lightning. Oh, he healed himself. Go kill this guy. I think we're gonna lose. Oh lord. 24-24. Okay, so this is an autosave. What the hell just happened? What? What? Hold on. 24-24. Yeah. Dude, this airtime sucks, man. There's just so little context to everything. Alright, so because this is fucking annoying me in this whole Manon segment and the whole like lack of reasoning for everything, and I feel like why is this even grayed out right now? Please don't tell me that like there's this whole section that we didn't save in. I will complete all this again before the next episode, but we will finally get into our topic. It rarely is the chance where I play this game and I'm just like, dude, not really enjoying it at the moment. We're going to get into our topic, which is division. And division in our country, division amongst people, division. It seems like everything is so totally divided right now. And I'm really worried about the amount of division in our country, but the sheer ferocity of the hatred between the Republican and the Democratic Party at the moment. I think in my lifetime, I've never seen more entrenched hatred between other parties, between two parties in this bipartisan system since Trump got elected. And it scares me because I feel like it's just getting worse, you know? With George Floyd's death and the brutality that's going on with people taking... police brutality is something that's unequivocally, unexplainably, undefendably terrible. I'm just saying that this is yet another issue that is people are taking very strong stances against purely because of their, box color tagged affiliation, whether they're Republican or Democrat. And I think the issue is pretty simple. Police officers should not be above the law, and there should be some sort of outside committee that at least investigates any act where someone is severely injured or killed by a police officer, period, regardless of who it is or what's going on. It just seems insane that there isn't, For personal note, I did attend the protests in Orlando. I attended in the daytime. Last Tuesday, I flexed my hours to do so. I guess it was Tuesday. Is today Wednesday? I don't fucking remember. It doesn't matter for you guys, but the protests were peaceful. It's just a bunch of people walking with signs, yelling, police were there. They were totally cool. Just kind of holding positions around the perimeter of the area. And I know that there's been some stuff about people being tear gassed, but from what I understand, and I could be wrong, and I have only a few hours experience in the daytime with this, but they were people that were causing trouble and vandalizing things, which I unequivocally do not support. I think it impairs the cause of what people are trying to do when people start burning people's businesses and flipping cars and doing all this bullshit. And a lot of the people who do that are not there for the actual reasons. They're there for the chaos. And there are anarchists, literally, that are there just to fuck shit up. And waves of people do not support this. Everyone wants to express their frustration with this issue in a peaceful way. And I can't, I've seen a lot of the horrible videos that have come out from some of the other protests, and maybe we'll get to that later. And I know it's not the same everywhere, but I can say for Orlando, at least, it's been pretty peaceful. Even other places in Florida, like Jacksonville, have had pretty rough experiences with the whole protesting thing. But it makes me proud to be from this city when things go right. But I think this whole situation, I worry about the divide between people. I read all the Twitter stuff. I'm worried, I think BLM is great. I like how many people are showing solidarity. I get afraid when I see things like All Lives Matter being turned into a meme, because I understand why people don't like the tag, because it's something that a lot of people who are just anti-BLM say as like a kind of like weak argument against it. But it still bothers me that something literally in that context, that all lives matter, can now be moved to the radical right. And that's like something that's happening everywhere, especially the more intense these issues become. So I think for at least posterity's sake, I think it's important to cover kind of how we got here, right? And how we ended up in this predicament where everything was super bipartisan as it is right now. Or super partisan, I guess, maybe that's the better word. But so I think all this started when George Bush won the election, and he won off the Electoral College, I believe, and that's typically how Republicans tend to win because the rural states are overrepresented, but by 9/11, our country was more or less unified in wanting to seek out Osama bin Laden and go to the Middle East. That was the time I felt like we were most unified as a country. That and the beginning of the coronavirus stuff, where everyone kind of was like, what the fuck's going on, right? And then very quickly, once that goes away, people are even more intensely against each other than ever before because of George Floyd stuff. Then the war in Iraq happened. George Bush bungled it, and everybody hated, they didn't hate George Bush the way people hate politicians now, but they did not like George Bush. And at least George Bush had this air of like being like a well-meaning buffoon, at least in the meme sense as well. But liberals love to make fun of him. I mean, that's where the whole like Steve Colbert character came from, was like bumbling Bush kind of thing. And I mean, if you just look at Colbert's old stuff versus his new stuff, you can just, if for historical purposes you want to see just how much worse it is now, it's gone from something that's, fun and jokey and satirical to something that's like straight up, I hate this and I hate everything about this, So then Bush, his time ran out, his term ended, and it was Obama versus McCain. And Republicans really didn't like Obama because he just came off as very like full of himself, very know-it-all. They were afraid that he was going to pull out all the troops from the Middle East before they needed to be. He did pull a bunch of troops back, and then he sent a bunch of troops back. So ultimately, it didn't mean much as far as that viewpoint goes. And they were not about Obamacare at all. Generally, Republicans are not about the extension of global health care, right? They're generally no bueno on that, in that regard, right? So they didn't like Obama for that reason. But Obama wins the election, and liberals love Obama because he's black, he's well-spoken, he's mature, and he's there because he wants to actually put change in. And he has a motto that's really easy to repeat, which is change. And he won, and for Republicans in his time in office, they really felt like he was using his executive power a lot, which he really didn't. I think Obama used his executive power like among the least amount of times, and for the least amount of like weird or bullshit reasons that presidents have. Just as an anecdote, I believe it was Bill Clinton who used his executive power to ban openly gay people from working in the military or participating in the military, and I'm pretty sure George Bush used an executive order to wiretap people without needing a warrant. So, I mean, come on. Those are some pretty sketchy things to do, and that's one Republican and one Democratic president, right? So, basically, there was a sense that he was overreaching with his executive power. It was more or less a reaction to how sweeping the reforms that he was largely a part of or in support of were. Namely, that gay marriage got legalized, which wasn't really an Obama thing, that was a Supreme Court decision, and that Obamacare got put into law, which is something they really didn't want. And there's a whole bag of worms about Obamacare. Is Obamacare good? Is Obamacare bad? I personally feel that healthcare should be extended to more people. I believe in globalized healthcare. Do I believe in Obamacare? I don't know. I just think that there needs to be, in a modern society, there needs to be some ground floor where people aren't just dying on the streets if they have low income, because that shouldn't be how our society works at all. And whatever we have to do to support that, we should. Not saying it should, we should totally screw out people who have private options that are trying to get better healthcare. But I mean, let's fucking get real. All of us, everyone is paying way, 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 way too much for healthcare. And I would know, right? So, people hated Obama, and they hated all that. And then Obama's term ended, and it wasn't that apparent how much Republicans were ready to come back, because the media is largely controlled by city people, not rural people, who are mostly liberal. And so a lot of the thoughts and feelings of the people that lean more rurally or more country got pushed out. And so it was largely unanticipated come the, I guess, 2016 election for Trump. Hopefully, I think 4 years ago, that there would be such a turnout and such such anger about this, right? And it was largely from a media and from a feeling of rapid change perspective that we aren't being listened to. Nobody gives a fuck about us. We're the unheard and unseen people, right? So the election comes around and it's Hillary Clinton is the Democratic nominee. Now, you guys have to understand, for posterity's sake, again, if someone's kids or somebody young is watching this and they don't understand, Republicans fucking hate Hillary Clinton. They hate Hillary Clinton more than anything in the entire world. They see her as being snaky, being part of, this kind of like, I don't know, White House royalty, people that are like part of these big families that they don't seem to care when it's Bush, but I'm just saying, as part of this, part indicative of corruption and snakiness and fakeness and also incompetency because of Benghazi in the White House. They absolutely hate Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton would win approximately 0% of Republicans over to her side, right? Which was bad for the Democrats. And I don't think a lot of Republicans would have voted for Bernie because he is like basically an admitted communist. And I'm not a supporter of Bernie. I don't hate him, but I don't agree with his policies. But largely the Democratic Party, Bernie was the popular voters' favorite, and they said, let's go with Hillary, and kind of shafted him in that previous election. So, yeah, they kind of, screwed themselves that way. But honestly, I wouldn't have liked to see Bernie as president either. Or Hillary, or Trump. So, and then Trump came out, and he was looked at, I'm like 99% sure that he only ran for office as publicity for his business ventures, all of his suspect business ventures that are basically powered by a shitty show called The Apprentice, and everyone, especially because, again, the media is very liberal biased, thought, it was a joke, it was a long shot. But because Trump is so willing to pander to anybody, willing to pander to the lowest common denominator, and that's not to say that all of his voters or people that were interested in voting for him were the lowest common denominator. I just mean in the sense that I feel like Trump will say anything that his voters are in support of, whether or not it's his personal belief or not. That is who Trump is. He was a Democrat for the longest time, before it behooved him to be a Republican. So he arises as this person who is all in favor of the American worker. And I think largely the palpable idiocy of Trump and, the clearness of how idiotic and fake Trump is to a lot of people at the time preferable to the attempt at not looking fake / long career of shadiness that Hillary Clinton has, right? So people become very entrenched in their camps. I think the reasonable voter there are a lot of people who couldn't stand Trump but would never vote for Hillary, right? Because of Hillary was an unelectable candidate to a Republican. And Trump was an unelectable candidate to a lot of liberals, but we didn't show up as much in the election. There was a big turnout to the election, but I feel like, and Hillary won I don't think she won the popular vote, but I don't think she won the popular vote. I'm not sure. I remember looking at the polls and thinking, she's not going to win. So Trump wins, and liberals are furious. It's like, oh my God, the world is going to fucking end. And if you looked at the early months of the Trump presidency, you would think, it was, because it was just chaos, right? Right from the beginning, there was, what is it? Oh God, there was all kinds of shit. The ICE stuff, the Muslim bans, what else was going on? All the Russia investigation and the election stuff, the fact that so many people were getting fired, the complete rape of the EPA, and being people with clearly counterproductive interests being put into everything, the fact that there were so many leaks, it was like, dude, what isn't going to happen, you know? And then the other thing, that Trump is on Twitter just pouring wood, pouring gas onto the fire every single day, right? So at this point, and this is the point when everyone gets super angry, consistently radical angry about Trump, right? Because they hate his ass. And why wouldn't they? Because he's done so many deplorable things, right? And that's, how we arrived today, where we have coronavirus and people are like, Trump fucked this up. And, I don't really know if Trump's slow reaction was not something that another president would have done. I guess nobody can say it, but people, the party lines are so entrenched right now that you cannot suggest an opinion is for another side, is for a different side. You're not allowed to have a human opinion. You're only allowed to have a blue or red opinion. That's it, And it's terrible. And I feel like it doesn't reflect the way that people are. I really don't feel like people are that different. I really don't feel like when I talk to Republicans or Democrats in an apolitical sense about issues that their party as a basic blanket statement, business card way supports. I feel like when you're apolitical about the topic matter and you're open to discussion, most people are willing to talk about things. And people even outside of these, single issues are widely the same, right? Most of us want to be left alone. We want to live freely, and we don't want to get, we want to live freely with the caveat that unless somebody's hurting somebody else, they should be allowed to do whatever they want for the most part, right? So, and I've had experiences personally like this. Like I remember we got locked out of our car. So we went to the beach one day and we got locked out of my car right when this massive beach, how those beach thunderstorms are, right? They look like the world is going to end. And it's coming in, and I got locked out of my car, and Gwen is freaking out, and I'm like, all right, well, we gotta figure something, right? So we see these neighbors. It's just us and another, this big black pickup there, and the pickup has I think the car had an AK-47 on it too, but not literally the gun, but a sticker. And then they had coolers with all these weapon memorabilia and camo and all this stuff. And we went over and we were just like, hey guys, we got locked out of our cars and the storm's coming in. Do you mind if we chill with you guys for a bit? And I think they could see that there was some sort of panic in our group. And they were like, yeah, good. You guys can stay with us as much as you need. You guys can hang out and do whatever. And we ended up hanging out with them for an hour or longer while the storm passed. And we were just kind of sitting there, making somewhat awkward small talk, but it eventually became loose. And, coincidentally, they were a, Filipino couple that originally from El Salvador, then from Virginia Beach, or I think somewhere in Virginia. And they had a son that also worked for Lockheed Martin, and then he now works for Lockheed Martin in Washington. And, we talked about things, and we even kind of talked about political issues, right? And I'm, try to be cognizant of where other people are, try to be cognizant and read the energy of the room. But, we just talked about gun stuff and how crazy it is that there are these shooters and all this stuff. And I feel like everyone is yeah, obviously it's terrible that there are shooters going on. And we need to think about these things from a statistical perspective and not get impassioned, because we ultimately, all of us want the same thing, right? And I think when you talk about issues like that, instead of reading what someone's card is or their label is, you get to a point where you're like, okay, this person has a different opinion of me. This person also has information that I might not have, right? Regardless of if that information changes my view, at least I'm still learning something from continuing to interact with this person. I'm building a more cultured and tested perspective, right? The more people I talk to of varying beliefs. There's no value in preaching to the choir. There's very little value in stating your beliefs to people that already believe those things. You should test your beliefs. You should encourage your beliefs to get stronger and to be tested and to be better, or to be replaced by other beliefs if your beliefs turn out to be wrong. So to that end, as kind of an experiment, I wanted to look through, and I am pulling up a list now of things. Look at Trump's policies apolitically, right? Look at them in terms of what they are. So basically, and I got this from PolitiFact, his campaign promises originally, some information on what actually happened with those campaign promises, and then try to look at them in an apolitical sense. So we are going to go through those right now. So I'm going to actually have to move this over a little bit. So one thing that Trump wanted to do is he said he didn't want to say happy holidays, right? He wanted to say Merry Christmas. Okay, seems kind of dumb. Maybe it offends some people, everyone's offended by everything. But as far as like the overall political scope, this is kind of a stupid thing to even talk about, right? If I was the president, I would probably say Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. I would just say all the things, whatever, right? I would just say everything because, I don't know. Eventually you offend everybody by doing something, but that's probably what I would do. He wanted to build the wall. That's the most lampooned thing that he wanted to do. Obviously, building a wall across multiple different types of terrain is not a very easy thing to do and not a very funnable thing. His other quote was that he wanted to make Mexico pay for it. They're not paying for that shit. But if you think about it, and you try to divorce, let's say this theoretical president's name is like Bob Grover. I don't know, just random guy. If Bob Grover wants to reinforce the border, right, because there are too many illegal immigrants coming in, is it crazy to enforce border controls, right? If you're not supposed to come into another country outside of checkpoints that are established so that the number of people can be monitored, is it insane to make sure that the guards across the border are effective? I don't think it is, right? Now, that kind of brings us into our next thing, is that he really wanted to limit legal immigration. That was another thing he wanted to. He wanted to cut birthright citizenship, which I do not agree with, and I find it hard to find real moral middle ground on that one, right? Because a child should be home where they're born, right? Regardless of how you feel about immigrants coming in and having their babies here just so they can become citizens, whatever. The greater moral good is that the child should be home. They shouldn't be evicted as children to a place they've never been to. That's just terrible, right? And I think immigration, he wanted to he just wanted to severely limit the number of legal immigrants in the country. And so there was something called the RAISE Act. I am going off memory here now, where the RAISE Act, where they were going to go on this point system and make only the most stupendous immigrants be able to get in this country, and then severely limit the number of green cards. And I know people very personally that have gone through this green card process, and it's already can end up being a decade-long process unless you do the 90-day fiance and just marry somebody, right? That's why so many people do it, because it's okay, do I want to, lie to somebody and get married and have the government come and ask me all these random questions about what side of the bed do you sleep on and what TV shows do you watch? Because they do that to make sure your marriage is not a fraud. Or I can spend, a decade trying to become a citizen, like some pilot friends of mine have successfully done, but took a crazy amount of stress and a crazy amount of time. So I personally believe that our country was made great by immigrants, that all of us who live here are immigrants, and for a long time our country had no laws about immigration, and a lot of the policies about immigration were racist policies, right? A lot of them. I didn't spend any time before this researching this, but I feel like some of the stuff I read before that, it was mostly racism and moral panics that caused immigration laws to exist in the first place. And I think that a lot of the value that we get is from skilled people coming here and people with new ideas and new values. And some of the best parts about America is that it is a place away from tyranny where everyone has a shot at being great. And so I understand that our economy is kept afloat by illegal immigrants. I don't like the idea of a system where we all understand that there is a part of our system that doesn't work, but that part that doesn't work makes our system work. I think we should find some way to make all of the illegal immigrants legal, or make some kind of classification. I just think they should be accounted for. I think they should be allowed to stay if they're working and they're contributing and they're building value to our country, which a lot of them are. But I don't like this idea. Like, if it was my ideal world, there'd be more enforced borders, there'd be more people allowed to come through the regular borders, and there would be, I don't know, a way of supporting those people to have the jobs they already have. And we would just know who they are, and they would have regular IDs, and people wouldn't have to openly be hiring illegal immigrants and just turning a blind eye. And then when there's some crazy policy change, you know, ICE comes in and just throws a bunch of people home, you know. Why can't they be legal? This is a country of immigrants after all, right? Want to limit refugees. There's some gray area there, you know. Refugees, a lot of the refugees come from the Middle East, where there were a lot of travel bans, and there's gray area there. It's like, if, you know, how many people should we really be taking from Iraq to our country without really vetting them? You know what I mean? I know, and I will get to probably what a lot of people are thinking in a minute, but I don't think implicitly Bob Grover's idea of trying to make it harder for people from terrorist, you know, high terrorism countries, harder to get into this country, right? Or at least subject to more thorough examination. I don't think that idea has no weight. I also think with refugees that the refugee problem is horrible, and a lot of people have got kicked out of their homes by terrible regimes and are literally fleeing death. So it's awful, right? However, there are huge refugee camps in Europe, and I know people personally that have said the refugees mug people, the refugees are criminals, the refugees do this, they do that. And some of those people I have firsthand accounts, and I don't think they think all refugees are like this, but I'm saying it's not like a smooth and nice thing, because they get put in camps and then they kind of roam. And I mean, this is a large extrapolation. There's lots of countries with different refugees in them, but they kind of just roam. You know what I mean? I'm going to get a little bit closer here. Sorry. Hopefully this all turned out well. So refugees is one issue. Common Core, God, I heard people bitch about Common Core so much when I was an Uber driver. Getting rid of it. 39 states use it as of January 2019, if I remember from PolitiFact. Could be wrong. Common Core, people hate that shit. It's too hard for a lot of kids, but again, for Common Core, every other country, they push their kids a little bit harder, especially in Asia. So why shouldn't we be pushing our kids hard to be here? I mean, I'm not, as far, as with immigration, if our lazy asses aren't doing our part to contribute to the country, why do we deserve to live here when other people are literally giving up everything to try to be here and to add value to our country? It doesn't make sense to me, right? 6 weeks paid maternity leave, that would be nice. Not going to happen, though. Just Bill isn't doing anything. Defunding Planned Parenthood. Now, I don't believe that they should do this, but I would say, to the point of Bob Grover's policies, if you take 6 Republicans of 3 women and 3 men, and 6 Democrats, 3 women, 3 men, in a line, I don't think all the Republicans will be pro-life, and I don't think all the Democrats will be pro-choice. I think there would be a lot of people on the fence, especially the Met, right? Which is fine. I'm pro-choice. There's a lot to this conversation. I really don't want to get into it, because that is one of the biggest single issue voting things for a lot of people. And I really don't feel like it's a partisan issue. I feel like people have that belief, and a lot of times they're forced to a lot of people, because it's such a strong belief, they're forced to misrepresent their opinion because of that belief, because they have to vote for this one thing and they get prescribed every other opinion because that's what their representative supports. I'm trying to get through this quickly because I know this has been a long episode. Using U.S. steel on Keystone XL and supporting Keystone XL. There is foreign steel in Keystone XL. That's just known. It's not going to help anyone at all. If you look at a lot of studies, it's very unlikely to lower the cost of gas. The cost of gas is low right now anyways, so there's no demand for it. The Keystone Pipeline already exists. The XL is just a quicker route of going through, I think it's Colorado and South Dakota and another one. Maybe it's Nebraska maybe. Basically, like it, and this will probably be flipped on the camera, but it the regular Keystone pipeline goes across east through Canada and then down, and they just want to make it a straight line and then down, and it goes to refineries in the Gulf of Mexico and Texas, basically Houston, where they refine this heavy crude oil that comes from the Alberta tar sands. And the oil itself is like a very low economic value. In fact, them making the Keystone XL pipeline is only to lower their entry costs to the market, because it costs so much to refine this shit, and they send it, and it's awful if it spills because it's so heavy it sinks and they can't clean it up. And it has spilled multiple times on the current Keystone pipeline. So it's just bullshit. It doesn't help any of the people that live here. It only provides construction jobs while they're building the pipe. When it's done, there will be like 35 jobs maybe in 3 different states from this. And it locks us into energy that we should be getting away from. The gray side of this is that, I mean, most of the industry is oil-based cars. I'm environmental, and I drive an oil gas-based car. So, I mean, it is hypocritical to drive a gas-based car and to fight against getting more gas, right? It's ironic at the very least. There is some gray there, but Keystone XL is fucking stupid, and it'll probably get overturned if Joe Biden wins. Anyways, right? They'll break it again. They've done very little work on it because of challenges state by state. So, limit travel to Cuba. You can't go in travel groups or by cruises anymore. I think you can still find a way. I don't know if it's illegal to go, but it's harder to get there. Withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership. That was something that actually I think Trump was against party lines on. So Republicans said stay and Democrats said go, and he wanted to go. He raised the tariffs on imported goods. So he raised tariffs against China specifically. And China steals American IP and intellectual property. And they also Trump pulled us out of the Paris Agreement too. And they also break a lot of promises when it comes to agreements like this. I mean, the Montreal Protocol was, I think, 1987 or something like that, like late 80s. It was revised lots of times, but China has been burning the CFCs almost to the last 60 years of that, and we thought we were going to be on track to have this ozone hole in the ozone layer fixed by, I think, 2050 or something like that. And it's like they've been burning this shit forever, and they finally just realized it was China all along burning all their fucking CFCs because they have no control over their country, you know? So, I mean, they can't... It hurts the American consumer, right? When China gets tariffed, like the solar industry, right? Solar industry gets fucked up because China has a lot of solar panels, and Asia in general has solar stuff because they have rare earth metals and we don't. At least in high quantity, so they produce a lot more, and we have to buy them and do them there. And when the tariffs came, like I think it was called like Solar City or something, was something that Trump wanted to give a big grant, and they folded within a few months. So it hurts the consumers, but I don't necessarily disagree with penalizing China for being shitty, right? They do steal IP. I know this personally too. But yeah, so I think that's the majority of the points there. And if we just kind of like think about it, or we make a bullet about these ideas at the same time of theoretical candidate Bob Grover, a lot of these points are debatable, right? They have some gray. They may not be your opinions, but there is at least something to consider on the other side, right? Something that is at least warrants a civilized discussion and comparison, right? But when you color code something Republican or Democrat, it becomes impossible to talk about because the division is so deep that, and even Trump has commented on it in his Twitter about how we live in a fragmented nation. You can't talk about anything. Here's an example, right? So, I personally don't like guns. I don't like being associated with violent things. I think a lot of people who associate themselves with violent things end up being weird people or violent people. And I don't see why people need automatic or semi-automatic weapons like AK-47s when they could just buy a shotgun to protect their property, right? This would be a belief that I would have, right? And I'm talking to a conservative individual, right? Theoretically. And they're like, Well, I mean, that makes sense, because at least, you know, if I say a shotgun, at least I'm theorizing, right? At least I'm putting some value into a debate versus just saying no, fuck you, you know. They're like, yeah, I use an AK-47, but I do it because the gun was very affordable, the bullets are very affordable, and it's a very reliable weapon. It's not likely to jam, and it's not likely to break. And that's why I think that the AK-47 is a decent weapon for home defense. Maybe not the best weapon, but it's also very affordable. So, now, do I take that as the best answer I could have heard? No, but it is an answer that has some merit to it, right? It's something that can build my understanding of this issue, right? And by the end of it, we can just be like, okay, that was something that was said. What's on fucking Netflix? Did you watch Love Island or something? Oh, we've been obsessed with this show. Have you gone fishing? How's your gardening going? You know, how's this stuff? What did y'all do last weekend when blah, 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 blah? Like, you can live the rest of your lives after having that discussion. If you replace that with, like, I personally don't like Trump instead of saying guns, I don't see why people need to have Trump in their household, then the wall comes up, everybody's fucking killing each other, right? Because everyone hates Trump so much. And I think it's a flaw of our over-representational democracy, right? When our country was originally started, we needed a representational democracy because there are so many things to be democratic about, but people didn't have the time to go to a town hall to learn about all the issues and then directly vote on anything. So we have this representational indirect democracy where we elect leaders to do stuff for us, right? And we have our checks and balances and blah, 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 and whatever, right? But I feel like a lot of the value of that is not value anymore. I feel like it actually detracts from the people, and all it's serving to do is divide us even further, right? Because people can hide behind these. People aren't represented by these colors accurately for what their beliefs are, and they can also hide behind these banners without having real opinions, right? Or just wanting to use it because they're racist, like in the case of some Trump voters. And there are some racist liberals for sure too. But this banner kind of cloaks the negative things versus forcing people to actually have opinions on things. As another aside, I think the partisan system makes people super angry all the time or super exhausted all the time because there's so much information. People are so angry, and the internet is just the worst medium for civilized discussion ever. There's like this echo chamber effect with everything. One person says something, another person says it, and suddenly it seems like 30 people have said it, and even more than the number of people who originally said the thing are fighting against this thing, and there's this whole, it's just pandemonium, and it's awful. So I think that in my ideal state, the other issue is single issue voters, right? Because people get aligned with these things. All they care about is, I am going to vote for the pro-life or the pro-choice candidate, and then they get prescribed with all these other things they don't believe in, right? I think we should we should stop having so many representatives and people, because we have this is the point. Before, they could not be representational because people didn't have time. Now, everybody can go on the internet and read everything about these issues, be educated, and go vote. And they can vote on the issues, and the issues they don't care about, they don't have to vote on. And that's how it already works for state elections, right? So why is it that in the most important things that people feel that affect all of us, right? Like pro-life, pro-choice, marriage, gun control stuff, right? Why can't people just vote on their opinions versus like saying like, oh, I'm voting against the environment when I do this, or I'm voting against civil rights, or hopefully not civil rights, but I'm voting against X, Y, and Z practices, when really all I care about is this one thing. It doesn't make sense, right? You can vote on all this stuff in the state level, and then the federal level, they're like, no, it's too complicated to have a real opinion. So what we need to do is say, are you trying to build are you trying to drill for oil in your front yard and sell it to your neighbors and then make them pay to breathe the air and drive on the roads in front of your house? Or are you starting a commune in your front yard and you're giving everybody equal share of the cloves of grass to eat, and no matter how hard they work, everyone will be given exactly 23 blades of grass, so they're never incentivized to do anything. Like that is what you get turned into the more divided the world becomes, and the less space there is for people who are reasonable that actually exist, right? Apolitical people like myself. Now that said, I've made light of the fact I have said a lot of stuff to try to diminish the role of the representative, right? And the role of the character of the representative, but I actually don't feel that way. I wish we didn't have these representatives, but I do feel like the candidate's character does play in a context. And I think a good example of this, if you guys ever want to watch a fantastic documentary called Finding Gorbachev by Werner Herzog, one of the greats. Love Werner, on my bucket list to meet him. Probably won't achieve it because he's very old, but he did this fantastic documentary about the fall of the Soviet Union, and a lot of it, literally from a testimony, was just the character of the leaders involved. All the people that came together to talk, to make peace, to extend olive branches, and to be civilized so that the world could be a better place for everybody living in it. And it was the choice of those leaders. I mean, that's a macro level. On a micro level, you can think about things like, Obama giving the okay for SEAL Team 6, the final okay as a president, when some of his advisors and even Joe Biden, I believe, told him not to go get Osama bin Laden. And they did. And it was funny. I was reading some stuff before I decided to record this or do this episode, and whoops, hit my keyboard. And I had seen some counterpiece from some SEAL who was angry that Obama was golfing or not golfing, or was golfing later in that day while such serious things were going on. And that's like everything that people criticize about Trump right now. So if you ever become the president, do not ever play golf ever, right? I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to make a statement about when each president has played golf. I'm just saying nothing good has ever come from playing golf as the president. Golf should be banned. I personally hate golf. I think it's barely a sport. I think League of Legends is more of a sport than golf is, if you just really look at it. It's more like chess, It's barely more of a sport than chess is, right? And chess is an amazing sport. It has so much history, right? That's what's amazing. Been played forever. And but yeah, the character is important, and I think Trump has zero character, honestly. I don't think you're saying something controversial by saying that you can just go pull 500 billion awful things he said about women, minorities, the opponents, liberals, probably even in the past about Republicans before he was a Republican. And it's terrible. And I think character matters. And I think the fact that character matters is why we should be apolitical. Because all we end up doing is spinning our wheels, getting exhausted, and we get on the internet, we scream and threaten each other. And we get out in the real world, we look at people as being Republican or Democrat, and we think of Trump, and we think of how much we hate him or how much we love him. And we look at the other people as being lovers or haters, and we want to fucking destroy their asses. I'm trying to illustrate how deep the division is right now. And it scares me. It scares me that our beautiful country is being destroyed by corrupt, the status quo of corrupt politicians, the fact that none of us are ever represented. I wanted Andrew Yang to be the president so bad. Not because I agreed with the stipend thing that he was trying to put in, the universal wage. I didn't have a strong opinion one way or the other about it, but the fact that there were Republicans who would vote for him, the fact that he was like me, he was willing to sit down and talk about issues with anybody, right? And he was a candidate that was the opposite of Trump. Calm, collected, math-based, and willing to put an eye on things. And what did they do? The media, CNN said, no, we don't care about this guy. He didn't pay us for spots on our network, and he's also talking shit about us, so we're gonna openly try to keep him off our network. And he didn't end up being the president. I don't know if he'll end up being in Biden's cabinet or whatever, but I almost hope he doesn't, because there was a lot of purity in what he was trying to do. And I want to buy a shirt for him because I just love the idea of a reasonable president in this day and age. And I don't know. I think if you're a good individual, you should be apolitical. You should be educated on the topics. And you should be open to discussion, because what you should be seeking is the right answer, not the answer that aligns with a color. The answer that is just, that benefits people. And I think you should vote for representatives who have character, you know, because, I mean, if I had it my way, there wouldn't be so many representatives, but if you are going to vote for one, they should make sure or hope that they have higher character than the other alternatives. You should really push that your party of choice pick somebody that you care about, and people should be making their voices this loud that they don't care about their candidates either, that they don't want Biden and they don't want Hillary. They want somebody like Yang, you know, somebody different, somebody who represents normalcy. And I think you should be open to discussion, because otherwise, you know, we're just killing each other for the sake of CNN and Fox News to keep drawing the extremes out and making us all look like idiots for, you know, ratings and money. So that's division. It sucks. I think, just as my last note, and I know I've gone on super long on this topic, I think what happened to George Floyd was terrible. I think that the protests are very valid. I think that the destruction of any property is awful, and the flipping over any cars is awful, and it also diminishes the message of the protests. And I also feel that that it doesn't benefit police officers that are good, which there are, and I know them personally, and I've seen them work in person during the protests. It does not help them either when people are so terrified of police officers not being persecuted if they do something wrong, right? It doesn't help the good officers when, just like with this whole discussion with candidates, when police get filed into a group, you know? And so I think that having an independent review board that polices police officers and is forced to go make an investigation about anything where somebody dies or somebody is beaten senseless, like, you know, into a coma or crippled, is warranted. And it should be by people that aren't in the force, so that we don't have like what's going on with the EPA right now. And I think that protects good police officers, and I think that hurts bad police officers. And yeah, you know, that's how I feel about that. I wish All Lives Matter wasn't a bad hashtag. I as much as people are like saying nice things about like Seth Rogen shitting on all these people who say all life matters, and I don't know if those people are racist or what they're doing, I just hate the idea. It's literally what I'm talking about right now. I hate the idea that any word that means all of us can become tainted by this hardcore for us or against us ideology, right? It hurts. It's terrible. And I hate to see this wonderful country of people and ideals and beliefs and successfully implementing those ideals and those beliefs be torn apart by what I feel like is an ineffective design of government and a centering of media over reality in terms of issues, and people being programmed by social media interactions more than real life interactions. So it's just depressing to continue talking about this, but please represent yourself well and stay safe out there again, because there's curfews going on. People seem to be rioting, and the level of violence that I have seen in some of these cities and protests is just hard to even look at. Like, you know, grocery lady getting shot in the face. I'm not going to show any of these videos. I might post links below, but I'm not going to show them, or at least to the subreddit where you can find some of this stuff. People getting shot in their homes with rubber bullets. People getting shot out of the grocery store. They're not even at a protest. They're skulls are bleeding, people getting blinded, 9-year-olds getting pepper sprayed, people vandalizing people's businesses in the middle of these protesters, and then the cops see the vandals and they think everyone's protesting is doing all this horrible shit, so everything just goes completely insane. And it's just like, how, without a better leader than Trump, with someone with just even a modicum of dignity and respect for human life and respect for stuff like that, how do we ever get out of this, you know? I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm going to have to beat some annoying shit in this game to get back to where we were. It's late, it's a weekday, and I'm saying goodbye. Good night, good luck, I'll see you next time, bye-bye.